FightNewz.
This is a game when someone insults you, you can legally beat him up for it, which is plainly what Vargas has on his mind.
Notice over there,
I told you he's got a fight on his mind before the opening bell.
Traigo la sangre caliente, sí señor. Y ahí viene Fernando Vargas, nada más.
The man with the black skull cap on at the head of Vargas's entourage is world lightweight champion, or junior welterweight champion, I should say, Zab Judah. Zab Judah dominating the screen right at this moment.
They were teammates at the Olympics.
And you can see Mike Tyson behind Vargas at Fernando's right shoulder. Tyson apparently with his left hand on Vargas's left shoulder. So now Vargas breaks away from the entourage and comes into the ring. And let's take a closer look at one of the spectacular young champions in boxing.
Just 22 years old, this is already his 5th title defense. But 2 of his last 3 fights have gone the distance, and the other one 11 rounds after a string of knockouts. So he has 2 hits left to Trinidad. He has to beat Thompson tonight, and then he has to resolve that felony dispute in his hometown in the next couple of weeks.
And as you watch for the fight, so Vargas rocks Thompson with a left hook.
But you know, I don't think that Thompson has ever been knocked out, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this fight. Even after fighting fighters such as James Page, which is a physically big welterweight and a big puncher, he's still never been knocked out, and I don't think ever seriously hurt.
And the left hook lands from Thompson to Vargas, and Vargas smiles as if to say, "It's on, brother."
Well, in fighting Vargas, he's fighting what I think is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world today. A very good, solid, basic fighter. And the speed and balance, I think, is going to be a big factor for Vargas as the fight goes on.
In his 2 big wins over Yuri Boy Campos and Ike Quartey, Vargas was able to reap the dividends of a style that allowed him to stand back and wait as a stand-your-ground counterpuncher for guys who came at him and committed and gave him opportunities. It won't be the same tonight, according to Thompson.
No, well, Thompson is an aggressive fighter. The only thing that I've noticed in studying films of Ross, after he finishes up punches, he's off balance a lot. Very much on his heels when he finishes up punches.
Vargas stepping inside with a left hook, rocks Thompson back into the ropes and goes to attack him. Fernando Vargas loves to get his opponent against the ropes and muscle him with left hook to the body.
Aggressive in the fight.
Good right hand to the body by Vargas as Thompson once again was off balance, having fired while leaping in. Vargas is...
Well, honestly, from what I can see, I don't know what the scorecards are showing, Thompson is holding his own. Very similar to the last fight where both guys end up colliding heads the way that they're fighting.
Oh no, what a great night that would make.
Well, that's
for the possibility of that.
No.
That's right.
Vargas needs to settle down and take his time and needs to box more. He's too emotional about it.
There it is. Puts a left-right combination together just the way you're supposed to.
That's
and Thompson
what I
goes
said he should box.
Absolutely right. That's boxing.
Yeah.
That was a combination. And Thompson grabs and holds as Vargas does damage along the ropes. Second knockdown comes just as the round comes to a close.
5, 6, 7, 8.
And Ross Thompson almost sat down when there was no chair underneath him. Vargas waiting in the new... Thompson beginning to get his legs back. And now throwing punches again.
But it's just going to be a matter of time. He's still a little too slow and very vulnerable to Vargas's short punches. I just hope that Vargas doesn't get too excited and do anything that can possibly get him disqualified.
Well, he needs to set up with the left and throw the right, and he does it again. And there's the third knockdown of the fight. And Fernando Vargas is buzzing with energy. And Thompson starts yelling at Vargas again as he gets up. I guess Vargas isn't mad enough to suit Thompson. He wants him more so. Fernando wants to finish right now. Thompson wants to hold on. Joe Cortez watching closely, and this is going to be it. Fernando Vargas with another fiery ring statement. Vargas knocks out a fighter who outweighed him by 10 pounds coming into the ring.
That was a very impressive knockout to me. A beautiful short combination, very little distance. And he and Felix Trinidad is going to be one good fight.
I'm not sure he's satisfied to knock Thompson out once. He wants to go back and knock him out again a second time.
What he's yelling at him is, who's above now? Who's above now? Congratulations, Fernando. This had the look of a routine tune-up going into the biggest fight of your life in December with Trinidad. What did it become for you?
Well, you know, definitely that's what it was. You know, Ross Thompson said a lot of things. Got me pretty pissed off outside the ring. But I've told you before, I've never lost my head inside the ring. I'm not saying it outside the ring that I haven't. But inside the ring, I've always been able to keep my cool.
The early rounds, what did you see? What were you confronted with? Did you think you would get to him that quickly, because he seemed to not want to get into any real exchanges with you?
I know Ross Thompson's never been knocked out, never been down. I think that shows what type of junior middleweight I am.
For your information, did you know that he came into the ring weighing 173 pounds?
No, I didn't. Well,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. I feel that I could take a good shot. I've never been down in my life. I've never been hurt. So, you know, I definitely am happy with my performance, but it's bound to bigger and better things, Larry.
All right, we have this on our monitor. Would you explain to us what happened here at the end of the fight?
Well, you know, I had him hurt, so I was just trying to wait on a good shot, and you know, I was trying to set him up with some shots. I took that right hand down, and that's a shot that my trainer Eduardo Garcia taught me, and said that people are gonna mimic your shots when you pull down the guard on somebody, like I did. And you know, I had to show what type of fighter I was. You know, he said I was nothing. He said that I was no type of fighter, that I was a chump. I guess this chump can fight a little bit, Larry.
All right, talk for a moment about Felix Trinidad. You guys are pals?
You know what, I met Felix Trinidad as a kid. As a kid, I was just an amateur, and he was the nicest guy in the world. And I think he's a great human being. And I think that in the ring, there's no friends. In the ring, when we fight, you're gonna see two lions fighting over two stakes. And that stake is this belt and his belt. And when I step into the ring, I'm gonna be his worst enemy he's ever had, worst nightmare, and I know that he's gonna be mine. So I just wanna be in there and show what type of fighter I am. I wanna beat these guys. I'm not afraid of any fighter, and that's why I step up to the plate, Larry.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Top of the food chain. We did it one more time.
All right.
This is behind us. Let's start the 3.5-month build-up now to what might be the fight of the year between Fernando Vargas and Felix Trinidad. And Manny, the way I see it, Trinidad is a hard puncher with both hands, slow starter, but maybe a harder puncher than Fernando. Fernando is more fluid, moves better in the ring, it seems to me. How do you see the fight? What kind of a battle should it be?
It's a very interesting fight because it pits my two favorite fighters in that weight area together. And what makes it interesting, not only that both guys are good fighters, but they both love to fight. You know, I think these are guys that even if the money wasn't even involved, they would love to fight each other. But also, it's such spirit and high emotions are going to be involved in the fight. I see the fight basically normally and everything else going towards Trinidad. Then you think for a moment, you know, Trinidad is a little shaky early in the fights when he starts off. Fernando Vargas is very dangerous at all times, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the first 5 rounds of the fight. But right now I'm like right down the middle, but it's going to be a very explosive fight with a lot of emotions involved, the Mexican, Puerto Rican rivalry, the this to that, and you got Vargas with this personal thing against Oscar De La Hoya where he's going to do what Oscar didn't do and all of that. He's not going to be a running Mexican and all of that, so it's going to be a great, exciting fight.
One final thing. I thought when Vargas's Olympic classmate David Reed fought Trinidad that he was physically ready for Felix, but not mentally ready for him. This is a different thing, right?
Fernando Vargas is a legitimate junior middleweight. In fact, I'm really concerned about him even holding the middleweight, junior middleweight. He's a very strong kid, grown a lot, very thick, and I believe that Trinidad is going to be in a very dangerous situation in the first part of the fight because Fernando not only punches good, but he has good balance, good instincts, and if he can get Felix when Felix is very vulnerable in the first part, unlike when David Reed had him hurt and David backed off and waited, Felix is going to be in big trouble because Fernando's going to go all out.
Then you got to back it up, though.
Big left hook by Trinidad, and Vargas is stunned. Vargas is stunned and down. Sensational left hook.
Trinidad can't go to the well. He's not playing around now.
Second knockdown. But this is what Felix said he'd do. No 3 knockdown rule in effect. Punished to the body for 7 or 8 rounds. This is an unusual situation.
Now he got hurt by a right hand.
Deadly and quick as Tito Trinidad. And Trinidad did everything he could to finish it right then and there. Give Vargas credit for showing some stability.
Despite being down twice. And now Vargas tries to rake Trinidad
Out of the way of those punches. How he does it, you don't know.
right hand lands for Trinidad. Vargas pops back with a left.
Get his legs back under him. That's what he should be doing.
There was a brutal body shot by Trinidad that set up this assault, but Vargas is able to duck.
And this is one of the first times you've seen Trinidad try to sprint early like this.
Trinidad holding on to Vargas's right arm as Vargas whacked away with the left. Best rally of the fight for Fernando.
He's ready to take off on you and go.
Some of us really expected Vargas to be at angles and not, and he's been taking too many punches.
Oh, good right hand. Throw your right hand before you look.
Wrong with Trinidad's right eye.
Sees a chance and bangs away with the left. Hard right hand by Trinidad.
Into the right eye of Trinidad.
The first round. The young fighter seems to have gotten his feet under him. He takes a low blow. Keeps motioning Vargas back into the corner. Now Fernando wants to come out and fight.
I really think it was Vargas who had the momentum going before the stop.
You got to give him 2 extra points. And down goes Tito.
The fight was before. It just changed.
Here comes Trinidad to try to follow up. I mean, check it. Vargas to try to follow up.
Trinidad in trouble. He wasn't going to let him off the hook. He got another low blow. And right now, Jim, it's a 3-point round for Vargas.
Round 4 continues. Big left to the body. Felix backing straight up. Takes another left hook.
From what I've seen in the corner, they're telling Tito that his eye looks okay.
What you want him to do, spread that leg.
Good left hook by Vargas. Left hook to the body by Vargas. Close to the belt line.
At this time, Trinidad should be establishing
Much more effective at range right now. This is a dominant round.
It was a thumb because there are no thumbs on these gloves, Jim, but it was a glove.
That's what Fernando would prefer.
Well, let him say it. We can't do it.
Trinidad making a comeback now in round 6 after having been thoroughly dominated in 3, 4, and 5. And Vargas, who was moving away early in the round, elects to trade with Trinidad and gets the better of him for the moment.
Okay, Jim, amazing. 55-55, 3 rounds apiece. Tito Trinidad definitely caught up in round 6.
Now Vargas got to understand that these latter rounds belong to Trinidad. You've got to box him.
Another low blow. And another point deduction against Trinidad. Little short with that. Now he lands one
All
in the count.
night he's been waiting for.
Corner, talked to him for 5 minutes.
as a macho battle, and it's been all...
Good left to the body by Vargas.
Trinidad was hurting the body, and he went after it.
He hit him again in the same spot, right above the trunk line there.
Body punching. 10 seconds left in the round now. They come down the stretch of the round, and Vargas momentarily hurt.
Because he stops and thinks for a second with the swelling. He hasn't blown his nose like he did. You want to make sure you throw uppercut, you're in the middle of the ring.
A right hand from distance momentarily wobbles Vargas. Another combination. Vargas grabs and holds. Another big right hand by Trinidad. Vargas in trouble. He stands and... Another left to the body by Vargas. And that backs Trinidad up.
That's what you want, Trinidad. You want to back him away. Make him back
to the body by
Make
Vargas.
him back up.
And another left to the body. Trinidad to the ribs.
Right here, it's toughness of Vargas against...
I'm not the kind of fighter who'll run. I'll stand with him. I'll trade with him. I'll stay with him all the way. That's what Vargas does as he comes down the stretch in round 9.
3 rounds to go.
Harold, both rounds were very close. One of the judges for this fight, Glenn Hamada, was also a judge for Trinidad De La Hoya, and he had that fight 114-114. At another extremely close fight tonight. And a 1-point deduction for Vargas. Vargas is throwing low punches too.
He probably was, and then you caution your referee if you're a good commission to be equal here. And that's not a bad for Don King.
To try to make his point. Mark Ratner, the executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, was 2 seats away. Meanwhile, they're still busting each other. Now, Trinidad has definitely had the edge in power.
Well, then how's he going to win the fight, George?
Passion, commitment, pride, and absolute determination all the time. Try to match my will. That's what Felix Trinidad. Good left hook inside by Vargas. Vargas with a momentary flash of offense.
There you go, Vargas. He's beating him to the punch, and he's rattling him. He's got his heart. He's got his power.
Trinidad. Jim, there's no question. Out of the last 4 rounds, Tito Trinidad has released 3.
Down goes Vargas. Fernando Vargas must score a knockout, or he's lost this fight. Down goes Fernando.
From instinct and courage.
He's out of it. He can't see Trinidad.
He's about to get knocked out. Fernando trying to survive. Fires a couple of punches and holds on like a skilled veteran.
He's a veteran.
And that'll do it. The third right hand, the third knockdown of the round. A huge victory for Tito Trinidad.
He closes the show.
Perfect left-hand shot on the button by Felix Trinidad. And then, seconds later, the second knockdown, and the one that made it clear that Vargas would need a near miracle just to finish the fight. And a merciful Jay Nady not bothering to count, but rather stepping in to end the onslaught and spare the brilliant young talent any further punishment at the hands of the devastating Trinidad.
And now the WBA and IBF 154-pound world champion, Felix Tito